2, 1, Larry.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Big Idea podcast. We've got a special guest, Christian Younggren, who I had the pleasure of meeting at the NADA after his very well-attended and successful speaking engagement there. We've recently had an issue with the federal government. That is why Mike Larkin is officially in the Witness Protection Program. Next time you see him, the facial surgery will be done. He'll be shorter. Hair will be a different color. So
no, that's my real face.
What's that, Michael?
That's my real face.
That might even be more tragic than the federal pending indictment, Michael.
Don't I look handsome?
Obviously, we had a heck of a good time at our dinner that night, and you kicked butt at the NADA. Tell everybody that isn't aware, although they should be, who you are, what you do, and how you do it. And then if things bog down, you can tell them about the tooth story.
So Christian Younggren's my name. Been in the automotive business since 1991. Got in like a lot of people by accident. I tripped up. I graduated from Augustana College. I was a business psych major. And like a lot of people, I thought I was going to like cash the Pullman for this, at the time, a $50,000 a year job from 91, right? So I'm interviewing for jobs up in Chicago area. And I had this 79 Chrysler LeBaron that got about 3 blocks to the gallon that my sister gave me. Said, get this heck out of my apartment complex. So I was driving that back and forth to Chicago area, trying to get a job. I thought I was going to be the CEO of some company and right off in the sunset. But as we know, sometimes that's not exactly how it goes. So I'm coming back from this job. I think it was Illinois Tool Works was the name of the job. The company I was going to sell widgets. I'm coming on my way back home. I'm about a mile from my house. I'm excited because I got the second interview with this company. I'm finally going to start making some money, pay off these student loans. Left that day with one big problem. I needed a job. All of a sudden, this car breaks down, and it breaks down a mile from my place. So now I got 2 big problems. I need a job, and I need something to drive. So I walk home. And I went back to my place that I lived with like 3 other college dudes. They're all laying around sleeping, hungover. And I used this thing we used back in the 90s. It's called a newspaper. And we used that for trying to get a job. So I looked in there and I saw I could get a job selling cars and I could use their car. So I'm thinking I'll use this car, I'll get this job, and I'll go up and get this job at Illinois Tool Works right off in the sunset. The story goes, I didn't get the job at Illinois Tool Works, had to come back at the dealership and work. Didn't think I was going to do it forever, but 3 months into it, I made $8,000 in that third month, and I was hooked. So in the business ever since, did sales, did finance, sales manager, general sales manager, went to the Dealer Candidate Academy, all that good stuff. And then in 2011, my mother passed away, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do what I always wanted to go do, which is go train. So I'm a sales trainer. Kaizen Enterprise is the name of my company. Kaizen Automotive Consulting is the division that I work under. I blend behavioral science, psychology with sales training. And I'm located here in Moline, Illinois, the Midwest. They call it the Quad Cities, kind of right there on the Mississippi River. So that's how I stumbled into the business, and that's what I do.
That's awesome. I've been waiting to have you on our show to talk more. I'm impressed with what you've done. That's not an easy task by anything. Is to get to be able to present at NADA. So you got some people supporting you in your corner. So that's very, very cool. I saw your history. I see that is it jujitsu that you do with your son?
Oh, I wish. So Taekwondo. I'm a 3rd degree black belt in Taekwondo. My son's 2nd degree black belt. It's something that we are able to do together. I actually started before him. Wanted to do something that it's something that I was getting to a point in my life where I had made a pretty decent amount of money. I could buy kind of what I wanted, not I'm no Buffett, but I could buy kind of what I wanted. Wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. I wanted something that money couldn't buy. I wanted something that I had to work for that I couldn't just go buy. So I wanted to. So I did this Taekwondo. I took it up when I was like 42 years old, and been doing it ever since. And I really do like it, enjoy it. Had I known how hard it is on your knees, I might have taken up like karate or something different. But so I'm trying to get a knee replacement here at some point. But I love it. Thanks for asking.
So let's talk NADA. What did you guys? I'm Larry and Christian. It looked like from a collaboration point of view, the entrepreneurs were definitely out in full scale, and they were meeting a lot of people. There were a lot of dealers gaining a lot of awards. What was the buzz? We know AI. I don't want to talk about AI. AI has its value, but what was the buzz at NADA? Both of you guys.
Go ahead, Larry.
Well, in my instance, I thought it was a very positive NADA. I think you had a lot of pent-up emotion because a lot of people couldn't make it last year in New Orleans because of the insane weather situation.
The snow. Yeah.
I personally had a lot of fun. I ran into a lot of people I already know and enjoyed their company. I ran into a lot of people I've never met, such as Christian. I just found out this morning that I'm officially signed up with a large group only because I met them at NADA, and I'm working on two others. I thought it was a positive vibe. I thought it was upbeat. Christian, awesome. I'm sure will agree. We put a good crew of people together. He hung around with us for a little while. We did lethal sales, Gary. I know you tried to dial in, but I guess the only negative vibe in that place is how weak some of the signals are, and that it's tough to podcast, and some of the people ran into problems there. But it just so happened since last year, we try to connect with Earl Sticks Brown, who's just the nicest guy in the business, and his wife's nicer than he is. And in this instance, we were really close to the booth where Tom Gregg was, whose van, and who David Long is now hanging around with. I think he's the COO. And he was there with his son, Alex, and Thomas Sidorano was there. And we wound up having a huge cast of characters. So there was a lot of camaraderie there. As I said, Jeff Shearer, just a lot of good folks. So for me, the vibe was very positive. I enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it. I met a lot of good people like Christian. I got a lot of business done. And hey, I thought it was a win-win. I'm Christian. You have to agree because you were exposed to a lot of people that have never heard you speak as to what you do. Correct?
Yeah. It was fantastic. I mean, obviously, it was a dream of mine. Like a lot of you, like you two and Michael and a lot of you guys that are listening. I consider myself a lifelong learner. And, years ago, I was at a workshop and I think I got challenged by a trainer to write down 100 goals. And it's hard, you get about 20 or 30 and then you're stretching. But I know on the top 30 was speaking at the National Auditors Association. So, I applied several times. It's a difficult process, as a lot of you know. Was turned down and just kind of kept the course, and was able to get accepted. So, yes, obviously that was a highlight for me getting to speak. Kind of nice the way it worked for me. I got to speak on Tuesday, and the way they did it this year was Tuesday was all education. So it was in the morning education all day. So that was the focus. Now I was a little scared maybe people wouldn't come in because the vendor floor, the exhibition floor wasn't open till Wednesday and Thursday, and then it was open on Friday. So I was a little bit scared, but no, there was a lot of people there, and I think it was great because the focus was on education. So that day was very busy. But then the way it worked out for me was after I was done, now I could go do what I like to do, which was be a student and connect with people like Larry and some of the great people that I got to meet. So yeah, I mean, it was, I think I've been to about 8 of these now. Our dealer, he didn't send me every year, but about every 4 years, he's like, you need to see what the pulse is. And it was my favorite one, the best one I've ever been. A lot of pent up demand. You could tell. I did go to the NADA. They had this like little work, like orientation, and they mentioned that that there was 25,000 dealers already signed up, and they hadn't had the count already finished, and they mentioned that there was a lot of pent up demand, and they could feel it as well.
Yeah. Are they focused on getting back to basics, or are they still chasing shiny pennies?
Well, the shiny pennies they always flash, so everybody always is looking at the shiny pennies, aren't they? Plus, the way humans are, we like to, I'm talking just everybody in general, we like to try to find that fix. If we can find this golf club that's going to give us the ability to be able to hit it, another 50, 60 yards, we want that. But we all know that the basics are the most important, because if you take a really good golf club and put it in the hands of an amateur, it's going to be useless. You put it in my hands, not going to be as good as Tiger Woods' hands or somebody else. So yes, there was back to the basics, but again, because of the AI and so much going on with that, I do think there was a lot of shiny objects there as well.
Yeah. I think that the leadership in the auto industry, it starts from the top, and I think that they're moving in the direction, not as quick as all of us would like them to do, but it seems like the focus is, connecting the unconnected and making sure that the processes that you have in place, everybody in the dealership understands their roles and practices and tries to get better. And, if they start taking, training from Larry and you, and they start creating their own training environment, now they just get better. And I see a lot of the dealers are stepping back. They're stepping into that role, is that I need to get my arms around all this stuff and I need to lead again. And it's great because, we want to train, we want to be in stores, and they want to get better. It should be a win-win moving into this year.
It's interesting, Christian. AI is every 3 seconds, it's changing, it's evolving. The phones keep getting more sophisticated, but it still comes down to how bad people are communicating. It's why fixed ops and variable don't understand each other. It's if you go into most dealerships and ask 5 different salespeople, not in a group, individually, what are the programs this month you have? They don't know it. You would think at this point, with all the tools we have, we'd be better at communicating and tying up all the loose ends.
Yeah, it's sad. You're right, Larry. It's been, I used to say that many, many times. That's always your disconnect between the front and the back is definitely communication.
Well, that service lane, unfortunately, gets neglected when you have silos.
Oh, wait a minute, Gary. Just got a text from one of those burner phones claiming to be Mike Larkin, saying if anybody asks, he was not in Nevada. So I just want to.
But yeah, the overall operation of the dealership today, it needs to be road mapped from beginning to end, and look in each department and reconnecting and re-engaging. And there's going to be a need for a lot of training and a lot of support. And once they get their dealerships aligned, they should be very, very successful. The tools make life so much easier. And it's just, if you can communicate seamlessly with all of your customers, it's going to make a difference in how business goes in the future.
Christian, we had a great discussion. I know you're from Chicago. We talked football. Gary's from Connecticut. I'm from Philadelphia, so I'll quote a great Philadelphia singer, Jerry Butler. Only the strong survive. With the big companies gobbling up little companies, the independents that are going to continue to grow and improve are the companies that understand what they're doing, how they're doing, what they're doing right, what they could do better, what they're doing wrong. Just don't think you have the margin of error you did 30 years ago. And no matter what you did, you were a car dealership and you made money.
You can get exposed too quickly. The auto industry was let's face it, reviews, to do a review back in the day, I mean, you'd have to take a lot of effort. You'd have to write this letter you'd write this letter to the editor. Maybe it'd get chosen. You'd write a letter to the company. Everything would get hidden. It was easy to put stuff hide stuff different places. You can't now. People just jump on and they'll put you on blast if you're a bad actor. So I think you're right. That margin of error is much slower or much smaller. The other thing too is I think there was a big thing there, it's kind of that Amazon one click. It's like, how can we make things frictionless? How can we make things easier? There was a lot of that, but to your point, Gary, you still have to have the right system, the right foundation in place. If you don't have the right foundation in place, these little systems can actually backfire and it can work against you.
Well, that's like where my focus is today, to help dealers. Is where they need the most help. And, I'm an F&I guy. And how I ended up in the digital end of the world is, a shock to me. But the websites and online is so much more important. And if they aren't educating themselves, they're getting and going invisible. So that's one thing on their marketing. But their dealerships, they don't operate properly. I mean, you still walk in the stores and there's nobody greeting you. There's definitely 50-50. You've got plenty of stores where there's a greeter and a desk where you walk in and they're looking to help you and they'll guide you. But then you've got a whole bunch of other dealerships where they're big, beautiful dealerships. Nobody's there. And nobody's there to help your process. So it just seems that the separation is happening faster than you would think. And the battleground is in the service lane and online. And if they don't pay attention to those two places, they're going to end up becoming obsolete, no matter what kind of process you have on the floor. But they need to be working on all of them right now because their meet and greets are not there. Their websites are not there. And now is a perfect time while it's quiet in the East to fix all these things. I would have thought that there would have been a lot more momentum coming back from NADA, but you haven't seen it yet.
Well, I mean, it still goes back to, obviously, we're all trainers here. So that's near and dear to our hearts. I mean, we know the training is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. And that's, I think, one of the biggest misnomers. It drives me he's been trained. What do you mean he's been trained? I mean, do you work out one time and now all of a sudden people that work out all the time. People that play football, they practice all the time. It's 90% practice, 10% game. So, it's sad, but I don't know about you guys first day
Christian,
in the car.
hit him, Christian. Hit him with his.
Lost you.
Hit him with the Zig Ziglar quote, Christian.
What's that? Oh,
training is like bathing. I recommend it every day because it doesn't last.
His other one, my favorite one is if you help the customer get what they want, in his Mississippi, if you help the customer get what they want, you're going to end up getting what you want, and that's just such a silly, basic Mississippi thing that I love. It's so basic and simple. And that's why it's worked so well. And that's why Zig was such a cool dude, because he broke things down and made it simple, And that's really what training's about, is taking a complex thing and making it simple. Anytime you're given a message, if you can take a complex message and make it simple, that's an art. And it takes some work to do that, but that's really the key.
I agree.
One thing I talked about in my session was setting up a system to make it to where, using digital. So using digital, I mean, how would you like to have a system that would work for your new hires? It'd scale. It'd work for new hires. It'd work for veterans. It'd work for everybody. And it's a 5-step process. The first thing is just sit down with your sales team, for instance, but you can do this in service. You can do this in any of the departments. So the first thing you do is you sit down and you brainstorm. What are the major skills that at our dealership that a salesperson would need to be successful right out of the gate. What are those skills? So we're going to sit down and we're going to brainstorm those. For one dealership, it might be 50. Another, it might be 100. It might be 150 for another. But you're going to have major skills, no matter what store, it's going to be major skills like the meet and greet, reflex objection handling, transition into a trial close. And you're going to still have minor skills that are important, but they're minor. Like filling out a credit application correctly is important, but it's a minor skill. Entering somebody in the CRM. So you're going to sit down and you're going to first just brainstorm those. Step 2 is you're going to create a digital playbook. You're going to create your playbook, your curriculum. And so because of all these, you're brainstorming, you're going to put in order the skills that need to be learned to make a salesperson a top performer. All the skills are important, but the sequence is probably more important. Does a salesperson really need to know a lot about presenting the figures until they understand how to present a vehicle? And do they need to know how to present a vehicle until they need to know how to do it, until they know how to do a good meet and greet? Step 3 is demonstrate, and that's the biggest drop. So you create this digital playbook, and in there you want to put what you need to do, when you need to do it in that digital playbook, when you're going to be tested on these major skills, what the major skills look like when they're done correctly. Now, the third step is demonstrate. So these major skills, a manager who is going to be testing them needs to practice with them and show them, not so much practice, but show them the skill properly done.
Coach.
Yeah. Coach. Exactly. Step 4 is huge, and that is sitting down with the salespeople on day 1, the manager that's going to be doing the testing, and he walks through that curriculum with them. Now, because a lot of dealerships set this curriculum up, they think that the salesperson can read it and they know, but it needs to be eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly, me looking at you going, okay, Gary, here's when you're going to have to know this meet and greet. We know from past experience with our top people that it takes about 4 days to learn this. So you're going to be learning this, what you're going to be practicing right now, nothing else, nothing more. That's what you're going to practice. On Friday at 10:30, you're going to do it for me and Bill, the other manager. And if you pass it, then we move to this step. And maybe you could even celebrate. You could create your new hire training money around that, so that's huge that people kind of skip out on. That's where you're going to transfer the ownership over to the salesperson, and you're going to put the responsibility on them to learn.
You're teaching them how to fish.
And then they're becoming intrinsically motivated without them knowing it, or they're not. And so step 5 is test day. And that test day, that's where accountability and reinforcement kind of meet. And you're going to see if they really did what they said they were going to do. And so the thing that it's nice about it is this scales. It works for new hires and veterans. Because if you get a veteran that comes in and tells you he or she knows how to sell, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But here's what I do know. You have them still take the tests. And they're going to pass out or test out of probably 80% of those skills because they're going to be good at them. But the little nuances to your store, like maybe you do a first step appraisal, or maybe you've got a different CRM, so they have to enter it in differently. Those 20% that are nuanced to your store, now they know them, and you know they know them. And so, they can still get on the floor quick, but they still get trained. And then last but not least is, with this thing, what I love is this. After about 3 test days, you're going to know really quick who your rock stars are and who your underperformers are, because you're going to see right then. You're going to see if they're on board or not. So again, what it does is it shifts the ownership over to them. And if they don't get it, it's on them. It's not on you.
Hey, Christian, that was awesome. That was awesome. I want you, and you have this. I want you to share this with us after our show, that 5-step process. Because what you just gave to any sales manager, any lead, and then you got to sprinkle in the F&I people. How do you want the paperwork? How do you want the appraisal? And if dealers brought in those kind of systems, then they have it repeatedly, and then they're not like having the new guy follow the old guy, because the old guy still has old habits that you don't want him to have. If you're not ready to appraise that vehicle until you've spent time with that customer, and maybe you had to go through the service drive first, or maybe you are doing some other things, but what you just laid out is perfect. And that's how you build processes for every nook and cranny and for everything in the dealership. And when the dealer has their full playbook of how to handle situations, now they're just collaborating and tweaking. Do we want to do? I mean, they all know that they should be appraising vehicles in the service drive. Okay. I have a vehicle right now that's ready to be sold. I have my Mach-E is 4 years old. I paid all my payments. I haven't gotten any real responses from any of the dealers like, we want to buy your car, we want to sell you. And I've been in service lanes. Appraise my vehicle. Give me an opportunity. And that's where, all of these processes. But I love those 5 processes. That's it in a nutshell. And Larry does it the same with his way of doing it. Is you position these people better to succeed and to grow, and then you force a culture is that it's your responsibility as management to make these people better. And if they have the aptitude and they have the desire, well, put your effort into it. Help them. Show them how to close deals. And in hindsight, as an F&I manager, we used to always wait until the rookie got their first deal. And then we would sit down and talk to them because, they made it, because there's so many other people that are just bumbling around like chickens with their heads cut off. You didn't want to bother with them, but you wanted the young people or the old people, or whoever that was focused in. It was like, oh God, this person's a dream. They're doing it the way that I would like to see my deals come, and we're all going to benefit. The process works.
So with that in mind, if you need somebody to help, Christian's a heck of a guy. And Christian and I were even talking about maybe doing some things together in the future. We hit it off so well. Yeah. So keep your eyes out. His phone number is on the screen. He's a heck of a good guy. He made a hell of a splash at NADA. Christian, we appreciate you having you on more than you could possibly imagine. And we thank you, my buddy.
Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate it.
And if we see Mike Larkin running around, you might need to hide him for a little bit, because we want him back next week.
There you go.
Everybody have I hope a happy Valentine's Day. It's actually going to be above freezing in Connecticut, so everybody should be happier. We could use some love because it's been a miserable winter. But I don't need to. Larry, you feel it. Christian, you feel it. And but enjoy the weekend. Happy President's Day. And I look forward to seeing more of your training, Christian. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Keep fighting the good fight, everyone.
All right.